Hello, I'm Irene Tansman, author of AB and Arlene's Autism War. If your loved one is served by a dehabilitation facility in Massachusetts, or you are considering dehabilitation for your loved one with intellectual disabilities and/or autism, please consider joining the Dehabilitation Families in Massachusetts Facebook group. Today, I'd like to talk to you about 10 problems with dehabilitation services. Some of these problems affect some dehabilitation facilities, but not all. Some of these problems affect all dehabilitation facilities. I'm not ranking these, so I'm not mentioning them in any particular order. Number one, lack of integration within the community. Dehabilitation facilities are center-based habilitative services. It does appear that there is an issue with lack of access to the community with these programs. However, it would be difficult to assert this idea without data. That is why it is important for everyone who has a loved one in a dehabilitation facility in Massachusetts to fill out the Disability Law Center's survey regarding dehabilitation and integration into the community, and I'll place a link below. One way dehabilitation programs can integrate individuals into the community is to teach community-based skills within the community setting. In other words, bring individuals out into the community to teach them skills. Another option dehabilitation programs can do to promote integration is to bring non-disabled people into the dehabilitation program. This could be done through community volunteer programs and/or by having administrative staff situated among the disabled individuals rather than in a separate wing or a separate building. Number two, lack of nursing services. My son's program does have nursing services, and nursing services are required by the Mass Health regulations. However, families have told me that some dehabilitation facilities do not have adequate nursing services and do not comply with the regulations. Again, we need the data to prove that this is the case in Massachusetts. Number three, lack of therapies. According to the regulations, providers are required to provide therapies such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy, according to a needs assessment conducted by a qualified professional. Unfortunately, the needs assessment can reflect what the provider would like to provide rather than what the individual needs. There is no clear procedure on what a guardian or advocate can do when the needs assessment does not accurately reflect the individual's needs. While therapies on a consultative basis could be legitimate in some cases, providers and schools and also schools do this same thing with the consultative therapy. Use it as an excuse not to provide these therapies. So what is consultative therapy? That's when a therapist trains the staff to work with the individual to deliver the therapy rather than one-to-one therapy delivered by a qualified therapist. It's a train-the-trainer approach. In environments that have a high staff turnover, this type of delivery of service is particularly ineffective. If the therapist delivering the consultative therapy does not know what the individual needs or how the individual learns, because the therapist hasn't had enough exposure to the individual, or in many cases, the therapist does not even know who the individual is, the therapy is just a fake. It's not real therapy. Number four, lack of access to augmentative communication and lack of staff training on augmentative communication. Access to augmentative communication is extremely difficult to get in some rehabilitation facilities, especially those that do not have real speech therapy or behavioral intervention based on verbal behavior. If your loved one might benefit from using augmentative communication and lives in Massachusetts, it is important to fill out the Disability Law Center's survey on augmentative communication. Again, I will place some links below. My son always hated using the communication book. However, he's perfectly happy using an iPad. I believe that's because of the iPad's speed and ease of use. It's very difficult. It's very different from fumbling through pages of Mayor Johnson icons. Individuals like my son never got a shot at using augmentative communication effectively because what's available now wasn't available back then. Rehabilitation programs should be right on top of this, but they aren't. Many of us feel that our loved ones missed the boat. Number 5, prohibition against teaching academic skills. I believe that this prohibition in rehabilitation against teaching academic skills is federally mandated. In other words, it comes from the federal government because this is a Medicaid program. However, this is an outdated rule that prevents individuals from communicating to their best ability. There are nonverbal individuals, especially those with autism, who have not had access to literacy programs being in school. In other words, they didn't teach them how to read, and who might be able to communicate via typing out words, but they need to learn how to read and they need to learn how to spell. This prohibition should be revisited. Number 6, too much nothing. There are rehabilitation facilities that are interesting, stimulating environments, and there are rehabilitation facilities that are merely warehouses where individuals sit all day doing nothing. And then there are rehabilitation facilities that fall in between those two extremes. There should not be any day programs at all that do nothing. If the programs that do nothing should be forced to clean up their act, and if they don't clean up their acts, they should be shut down. Number 7, no extended day. There's a lot of talk in political circles about universal childcare so that parents can work, yet nobody thinks about this population. For parents who work, there should be an option for extended day in rehabilitation. Number 8, sick time. Because rehabilitation facilities bill in 15-minute increments, there is an incentive built into the system for sick, contagious individuals to attend their rehabilitation program. This is wrong and dangerous in so many ways. Another problem surfaces for individuals with terminal illness such as cancer. There are individuals who are at the end of their lives. They are dealing with chemotherapy and other treatments, and they still need to come into rehab so that the provider can get paid. No, this is wrong. They need to be allowed to spend their last days resting in bed, watching TV, or surrounded by their loved ones or staff that they develop relationships with. They shouldn't have to get up early, get dressed, get in the van, and go to the program. It's just wrong. Number 9, access to the bathroom. I'm keenly aware of this issue because my son has Crohn's and can't adhere to a bathroom schedule. However, I have heard from parents whose loved ones don't have bowel disease, and this is still a problem. In the biography of Donald Vitkus, a Belchertown institution resident, the book was written by Ed Orzechowski, and by the way, I recommend that everyone read this book. Donald Vitkus did not have access to the bathroom in the institution whenever he needed to go. This is an issue that was fought and won a long time ago. However, even though we won that fight for our loved ones to have access to the bathroom, some don't actually have that. Why? Because the staff person can't take care can't take the person who needs to go to the bathroom and leave the remaining individuals that they're supervising unsupervised. This should not be. It's wrong. There has to be a way to provide individuals with access to the bathroom whenever they need to go. Number 10, the community clothing chest. Some rehabilitation facilities lose clothing and belongings frequently. Individuals end up using each other's clothing, and often the clothing is ill-fitting. People with intellectual disabilities have the right to their own clothing and possessions. Again, this is a problem that was fought a long time ago and won, but the problem still exists. We need data to tell how widespread the problem is. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of problems with rehabilitation. There are more. What do you think about my list? Would you add some items to the list, or would you take out some of the items that I mentioned? Please tell me in the comments below. I hope you'll consider buying my book, Avi and Arlene's Autism War, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.